Hey there, this is Dr. Linda Burke, board certified OBGYN physician, blogger, and author of the prenatal book, The Smart Mother's Guide to a Better Pregnancy. So I've been asked to discuss why I am so passionate about OB. It's a calling. I never set out to become a physician, but ironically, I did. After I witnessed my first delivery at Harlem Hospital on a hot summer night in the early 80s. At that time, I didn't connect the dots because by my family history, I never knew my grandmother, who died at the age of 39, 9 months after giving birth to my youngest aunt, from postpartum cardiomyopathy, which is basically congestive heart failure as a result of being pregnant. I never met her. And I also had two ancestors who were midwives during the period of slavery, one who was born in 1822, the other one who was born in 1850. Fast forward, many years later, after graduating from medical school, after getting accepted into medical school and then graduating from medical school and doing my residency in my beloved Harlem Hospital in New York, I stepped out into the world and started seeing things that I really didn't like. Actually, it was at Harlem, and I think I talked about this story before, where I had been following a patient who was 39 years old. It was her first pregnancy. We watched her like a hawk. She had to be delivered. We signed this patient out to the team who was on call. And the next morning when I returned to work, I was informed that her baby had died. And basically, it was her labor process was mismanaged. You know, unfortunately, my colleagues missed the signs, and by the time they did the section, her baby had died. So fast forward, and so that was a lesson for me. That was a profound lesson. I vowed that that would never again happen on my watch, even though I wasn't there that night. But I took full responsibility and I felt guilty because if I had not gone home, it wasn't my night on call, but if I had not gone home, that baby would probably be alive today and, like a 20-something-year-old. So I carry that woman's story with me, and I remember her every day of my life because it was something that shouldn't have happened. Moving forward, for the past 20 years, I've been a physician, obstetrician gynecologist for over 3 decades, but for the past almost 2 decades, I have been a consultant with the federal government doing what's called peer reviews, where you look at the management of physicians and midwives and nurse practitioners who have committed medical errors, or the patients that they were involved in, there was some medical error committed, and it was my expertise that determined whether this professional maintained the standard of care or not. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've been a board certified OBGYN physician since 1994. So for almost 20 years, I've been doing these reviews of these cases that had been settled in court, but the next step was to determine whether any breach of the standard of care was met or not, and whether what we call evidence-based medicine was practiced or not. And so when you review these cases over and over and over again, for a period of 15 to almost 20 years, you start to see the same mistakes being made over and over and over again. And it's sad. And it's as each year progresses, the mistakes seem to be getting worse and worse and worse. So this is why I am so passionate about patient safety, about obstetrics, about keeping pregnant women safe, about preventing preventable mistakes. That's why. based on my experience. I hope that each one of you, when God taps you on the shoulders, and whispers in your ear that these are your gifts, listen to that voice, because that's what happened to me, and I enjoy what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do, and for those of you who asked, I hope I've answered your questions in terms of my background as an obstetrician gynecologist. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.